So 2 weeks ago we made a massive decision to spray off and kill our entire lawn. But this is what it looks like today, but let me take you back 2 weeks so you can see how we did it and why we did it. So it's mid-April and today is the day I kill off our lawn. We're starting again completely from scratch. We've got a 5-part series to show you every step of the way, so you can do the same at home if you want the perfect lawn. So first of all, why am I killing off the entire lawn? You'll see that last year and the year before we did a lawn reno, and they actually worked really well, and they're great. And we put some fescues down, a bit of ryegrass, and it looked lovely. The thing is, ever since we've moved in, I've never really totally sorted this lawn. There's a lot of humps, a lot of bumps, and there's some farming fields behind us, and we get a lot of weed grasses come in. Now the weeds aren't the issue, but it's the weed grasses. Have a look down here, for instance. It's where we've got this really thick grass, and this is horrible. It dies off as soon as you get a bit of drought in the summer. It dies off really quickly, leaves these big bare patches. Instead of just fighting it every year, we're going to start again, which means a total weed killer, something that's going to kill the leaf and the root and get rid of all the green vegetation that it touches. And we're going to be using glyphosate, Roundup 480 glyphosate for that one. Another benefit of using glyphosate today is I can apply that today and I can be reseeding in as little as 4 to 10 days if it's worked. It generally stops working as soon as it hits the soil, so it's a really good product for a quick turnaround. Condition for spraying is broadly the same no matter what product you're using. You don't want any rain to be falling soon after spraying. For Roundup, it says it's rain safe within 1 hour, but I tend to look for at least 24 hours. The glyphosate isn't actually harmful to humans or animals, so this is a much safer product to use. In terms of weather as well, it's not just the rain you've got to worry about, it's the wind. You don't want a stiff breeze that's blowing this into the veg bed. Choosing the right nozzle is really important as well. You can see I've got my Still backpack sprayer here, and I've actually got a red nozzle on the end. Now this red nozzle will give me a 2-meter spraying width, and I can keep that going at 1 bar, and I love this little gauge at the top which will help me kind of gauge whether I'm at 1 bar or not. The only thing I need to know now is how much product I need and how much water I need, and for that we just need to pay a little bit of attention to the label. Now my lawn is 180 square metres, and you do need to be really accurate with what area you're kind of covering. And the label on the glyphosate for grassland destruction actually is quite clear. I need 3 litres per hectare, which is equivalent of 3 millilitres per square metre. I also need to make sure I'm applying the right amount of water, and again for glyphosate that's between 80 and 300 litres per hectare, which is 8 to 30 millilitres per square metre. Now this is where it gets a little bit confusing. So you need to know how much water you would spray over your entire lawn. Now there are 2 ways to do that. You can calibrate your sprayer, so you know how much water or product you spray within 100 square metres, and that way you can spray that on any lawn anywhere. If you was a professional, that's the option you would use, because you can then adjust that depending on the size of your lawn. Now if you're only doing this in your home lawn, there is a dead easy way to do that. Weigh your backpack sprayer, put 5 litres of water in it, which will then weigh 5 kilos more. Spray your garden up and down in exactly the manner you're going to, so you're not overlapping and not missing any, keeping the exact same pressure and the exact same walking speed. I tend to do that with music. I'll put my earpods in and listen to some music, so I'm keeping the exact same beat. Now if I've put 5 litres in my backpack sprayer and then I finish spraying, I've got 3 litres left, I know it takes 2 litres to spray this entire lawn, so I need to add the amount of product to that amount of water to spray this lawn. So if I know that I'm going to spray 2 litres of water over this entire site, I then just need to make sure that it fits in the range of what the label says. Now again, on the glyphosate, I know it needs between 8 and 30 millilitres per square metre, which in terms of water is roughly 1.5 litres to 5.5 litres for 180 square metres. So I know I fit within that range. And if you don't fit within that range, maybe you need to walk a little faster or a little slower, but as soon as you know how much product you need and how much water you need, from there on out, it's really quite simple. So how much product do I need? Again, 3 litres per hectare, 3 mil per square metre. For 180 square metres is 54 millilitres of product. And you can see this is a 5 litre bottle of Roundup. This is why sometimes it's cheaper just to get a contractor in. This will last you an awful long time if you have your average size residential lawn. There are other products available. This is a professional grade product that you do need a license to spray, but I think if you're doing something like killing off your lawn, it may be worth getting a contractor if you don't want to do it yourself. So I had a little bit of glyphosate left in my knapsack sprayer after a job last autumn, and I just thought it'd be interesting to spray a little square of it in the lawn to see what would actually happen. And I've actually left it all winter as well, but this is just a little square here that I sprayed. And yes, there's a couple of weeds that have come back into it, but all I did was spray this in August and then left it all winter, and you can see it goes back to nothing. There's a few little kind of brown stalks from the old grass. All the green leaf is what's come up this spring, a little bit of moss over there, but that is completely bare surface, and that is what we're looking for. Of course, there's a few other things we've got to look out for. We've got these lovely flowers in the borders, we've got some nice shrubs over here. We don't want to be spraying any glyphosate into this part at all. So I guess the only thing left to do now is to take that leap of faith and actually get that glyphosate on the grass. It's a really simple way to do it. I've already mentioned before that my nozzle is a 2 metre swath, so I'm going to lay out my cones 2 metres apart working up the garden, and that is just so I can be absolutely accurate with the application. And I'll link another video here actually where I did some spraying on a cricket square. I used exactly the same kind of technique. You can just go haphazard at it. Personally, I like to be absolute about it because glyphosate costs a lot of money. I don't want to double spray where I don't have to, but most importantly, I don't want to miss any areas. The kind of clock starts now as well. From the minute I glyphosate, then the lawn's going to start to die off and then it's going to be bare. So I want to get the seed in before other weeds and moss starts to take hold. I've waited until mid-April to do that because although a lot of people would have already started doing their lawns, it is actually still really cold at night. It's only, last night was 2 degrees and the grass really wants a nice warm soil temperature. I want to be plus 10 degrees on the soil temperature for the grass to germinate quickly. And you'll see I've got my wellies on because you will always get a bit of spray up the front of the legs as you walk into it, and then just be careful that I don't walk this then onto my front lawn, because then I'll be walking glyphosate onto the grass that I want to keep and it will die. So just be careful and mindful about how you're moving around. So it's a 2 metre swath, so I'm going to lay these cones 2 metres out and I'm going to aim at the cone. So for the first one I'm only going to be 1 metre in, because that's going to be half of the swath. And look, I'm not getting my tape measure out, that's just one good step. And I'm going to place this right in there just so it gives me something to aim at. Then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you have a look around the garden now, you'll see all those cones. I'm just going to be spraying, walking directly towards those cones then. So the spray, the swath, if I just show you over here, if I'm walking directly towards this orange cone, the swath will be 1 metre that way and it will be 1 metre that way. So then I know when I am at the next cone, my next swath is going to be that wide. So this is the bit where you just got to pay a little bit of attention to how you mix it up. The best way to do this is to put some water in the knapsack sprayer, add the product, and then the rest of the water that I have actually to rinse the remnants of what's left in the little beaker into the container. That way I make sure I get it all in there. Triple rinse principle, 3 rinses are there and that should be all good. This is the Roundup, so read the label. Nice little mix before we open it. See, I've got my gloves and my goggles on. So this is 2 litres of water, which is what I need to spray my lawn. So I'm going to put about half of it in there. It's about half, don't need to be accurate at that point. So I've already measured out how much water I need. And this is the glyphosate. So in this beaker, I've got, this is a 500ml beaker. I can see 100ml and 50. So this can be a little bit difficult, so if you need a bit of help, there we go, bang on 50ml, 50, that's going to be about 58ml, absolutely fine. And you can see how little you actually need to treat this lawn of 180 square metres. This would do an awful large area. So I'm just going to tip that in, always tipping it in through the mesh as well. Then I'm just going to triple rinse it in now. One, two, three, and then the rest of the water. And then I can't forget to give that a really good mix now, so I'm going to pop the lid on. Pop the lid on and then just give it really nice shake around, make sure it's all mixed. Now that doesn't feel like much because it's not. So now I've got to be really accurate with how I'm going to spray that around the rest of this lawn. So we're done now, we've done all the spraying. That's actually, the spraying took just 2 minutes, so got to make sure that this knapsack spray is completely rinsed out now. Don't want to be spraying liquid fert in a couple of weeks time on the front and end up killing the lawn. So triple rinse is the gold standard. So generally I put a little bit in, I give it a good shake around, pop the lid on it, give it a good shake around, repeat that 3 times, and I put a bit more in and then pump and spray until there's nothing left coming out at the end. I also then, just because it's glyphosate, take out all the filters. We've got filters in the handle here, got some in the nozzle, take off all the nozzles and then just completely soak them as well. You might want to use a separate knapsack sprayer for glyphosate if you're a bit nervous about it, but triple rinse has never been an issue for me. It's been 7 days since we sprayed it. Now it is pretty much just the material, the glyphosate being absorbed for the first 6 hours. First 2 days it's starting to work, but you can't really notice it, it's all internal. And then the first 3 to 7 days, where we're at now, it's like 6 days, you'll start to see it. And look, you can see it starting to yellow off. Definitely not looking healthy, you wouldn't be happy with it. So that's where we're at the moment. What I'm expecting to see over the next week is like clear die off, lots of browning, and then the leaf tissue starting to kind of break down. And then over the week following that, we'll then get the full breakdown of it. That means we can then start to scarify. The root will be dead, which is really important to get rid of all the roots. So yeah, 1 week away from being able to renovate the lawn. 2 weeks in and the lawn is out. It looks like a really bad summer, to be honest, but what's interesting is you can see the different types of grasses now. So this here, you can see where all the fescues were, super fluffy, super thatchy, and that grass is just pulling up now. You can see how it comes up. It is completely dead. And if you look just a little bit further afield, you can see where the rye grasses that are not so dense appeared, not so thatchy. But this is reason why I wanted to start all over again, so I can balance out the aesthetic. And you can actually see here as well some of the lumps that we've got that will be balancing out, leveling. Well, there we go, scariest bit is now done. All that's left to do now is scarify, level, seed, and then top dress, and we're well on our way to the perfect lawn. Don't forget you can download the Mowd lawn care app that's going to help you achieve your perfect lawn this summer. You can even link it to your Mowd lawn care subscription. If you want to see more videos in this series, then you can click over here, and for more videos that we've produced including kit reviews, you can click down here.